Whenever I disappear for extended periods, always have it in mind that I'm working actively on projects that can't afford me the time to make regular scheduled content. And my hope is that with this dev kit, you will understand. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SOB3D YouTube channel. In this video, I will introduce you to a new dev kit from SOB3D Mandy. It's taken quite some time, lots of deep thinking, numerous revisits, and so on. But Mandy is finally here. And Mandy is not like the previous dev kits entirely, no shade to them whatsoever. With the previous kits, we essentially had only one rigging pipeline, which was the now vanilla transfer weights, export, and call it a day process. But with Mandy, we get three. Yes, this time around, we have three ways to rig, export, import, and interact with the IMVU based creations that can come from this kit. In a nutshell, these are default, physics, and shapes. We will do a surface level coverage of the three processes in this video. Then hopefully later on, we can do deeper dives into their unique features. Let's begin. The starting point is the same. Gumroad. Open the devkit download link, type 0 in the price box to download for free or any amount you wish as a donation, which of course goes a long way. The download link for the devkit is in the video's description as well as each product page in the IMVU shop. Once the file has been downloaded and unpacked, you will find, as of today, 4 folders: animation, default, physics, and shapes, along with a PDF document which I highly suggest you take a look at. You will find in this PDF simple procedures, details of the devkit items, and other relevant information that might save you from sending more than a few impatient messages on Discord. We are looking at the animation folder, or animating generally, in this video, as that's a bit layered and deserves its own dedicated video. So hopefully soon enough, I'll be able to make a video explanation for the files in there. But for our main rigging workflow, in the default folder, we have the mcg.jpg file for use on skin layers to prevent products from being rated as APE when they are GA. Then we have the main Blender file for default version that comes with the weighted bodies. After that, there's an OBJ of the default GA body that you can import into other 3D programs as a modeling reference, but for Marvelous Designer that won't be necessary because we have a Marvelous Designer project file already included. Now in the physics folder, we have 3 files: custom fit, physics, and physics plus custom fit. The custom fit file uses the default bodies and armature for the most part, but the armature is adjusted at the leg area to produce more lifelike toe deformations. The physics file uses the default bodies as well, but they are rigged to a custom armature that contains pec and glute bones. Then, as you can probably guess, the last file combines both armatures into one. Don't worry, it will make a lot more sense soon. In our shapes folder, we have only 2 files, with one being the Blender file for the shape key physics driven version of the body, and an add-on which needs to be installed to make transferring the shape keys to your rigged mesh a more straightforward process. Let's see how they work. If you've seen previous devkit videos, you get the idea behind the default devkit. So we're first going to make our clothing item in Marvelous Designer, then we import it into Blender, UV unwrap, assign materials with index numbers so IMVU is able to separate them properly, then finally transfer the weights from the source body to the target object with nearest face interpolated vertex mapping and by name for the source layer selection. Once that's done, we give it an armature modifier with the main armature as the object. Select the rigged object object, then shift select the armature, file export FBX, uncheck add leaf bones and animation when not needed, then click export. Before import, we quickly bake some simple textures for the outfit in Substance Painter or any bake capable 3D software of your choice. Scroll to the product chart section of the PDF to find easily the IMVU product to derive from and its product ID. We import the FBX into IMVU using import as FBX, assign our textures, and we are done. Onto the physics file. You can see the armature includes extra physics bones for pecs and glutes. If you look at the foot area, as we are in the physics plus custom fit lender file, you will observe that the foot deformation is a lot more gradual than the default armature. We've already created our target object, so we can just import it directly into the Blender scene and delete the armature it comes with. The transfer weight process is the same. We equally need to add the armature modifier. All that's different with this file is the inclusion of the physics bones. What's a bit tricky, however, is importing into IMVU. When you import into IMVU, depending on what your avatar has on, the pec and glute areas will be awkwardly deformed. This is because a major caveat of the bone physics method is that it only works properly with avatars configured with compatible physics skeletons. On the plus side, however, scalers are now able to target the pecs and glutes more accurately. Is this a good time to say a win is a win? Well, what if we had won on the compatibility side but lost on the scalar side? That, everyone, is where shapes physics comes in. Now, the rigging for target objects in this file is a bit tricky. Just follow along. First of all, install the BPSK Maker add-on to make this process approximately 24 times easier for you. Open the BPSK Maker tab from your side panel. Set your clothing and or accessory item as the target object. The source in this case is the physics weight source body. Leave the method as nearest face interpolated, then click transfer weight so your target object has a baseline amount of weight for the physics shape keys to work with. Now, set armature as the avatar shapes armature. Leave the max value at 1 and uncheck preserve volume. Click update bone list to see the armature's full list of bones. Then select defaults to automatically select the bones we need for our physics shape keys. Once done, click make shape keys and the shape keys will be created shortly. Under cleanup, be sure to delete the vertex groups. Also delete the current armature modifier from the body. Move the physics bones around to test that your drivers work independently of the weights and any assigned armatures. Then continue as usual by transferring weights from the default body to your target object, assigning the default avatar armature to it with an armature modifier, then exporting it as usual to FBX. A small caveat with the shape keys physics method is that your object's poly count can't be too high, so do your best to keep it as low as possible. Also, remember that normal maps exist if you wish to bake in extra detail. Upon importing, you will notice no instant changes to your avatar as in the case of the bone physics method, but if you were to load an animation that operated on the shape keys, then you would notice the effect of the shape keys. So I'll quickly add a test animation to show you the results, and that's it. These are the Mandy workflows in a nutshell, everyone. I hope that enough information to support creating with this kit was passed in this video. By the way, I am very interested in your thoughts on which approach for the physics-based deformations is better. Do you prefer having scalable bones with limitless transformations but poor compatibility with most of IMVU's catalog, or do you prefer the shape physics method that allows for more compatibility but is limited in scaling capabilities and transformations? Let me know in the comments. This brings us to the end of this introduction video. Thank you for watching, and here's to more 3D videos, hopefully.